So today I wanted to talk about embracing the frugal lifestyle, because I think that sometimes there can be kind of like a negativity towards living a frugal lifestyle. There's people that think that if you're not just like super carefree with where your money goes, that you're being too restrictive with yourself. And a lot of times people think that being frugal means that you're cheap or you're stingy with your money. And other people sometimes will think that you're struggling financially and that you're being frugal out of necessity, because they just can't really understand why you would want to be so in charge of your money if you didn't have to be. And I have found oftentimes, like when you speak to people about living a frugal lifestyle, you often like get this like kind of funny look, like they can't really relate in any way. So I think sometimes it can be difficult to embrace living a frugal lifestyle because there's not kind of that support of it, except kind of in certain little like communities and some friends that you have that might have the same type of ideas. But like generally, as a whole, a lot of people don't really live a frugal lifestyle. So it's kind of, you don't get that support and discussion to really help you kind of embrace all the good things that there are about it. So today I just wanted to talk about some of the great benefits that we get out of living a frugal lifestyle so that we can really embrace it. One of the most obvious things is that you get the most value from your money. So when you embrace frugal living, you become very intentional with your money. You really make sure that you put your money to good use. You're not saving money when you can because you're a Scrooge. You're saving money on other things so that you can use that money for what you really love. So like, who wouldn't want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to be able to put more money to the things that you really enjoy and appreciate, and less to what doesn't really matter that much to you? You're definitely not being cheap by not wanting to spend money on things that aren't important. A lot of times being frugal, you'll even wind up spending more money on quality items because it's for something that we really value. And, we know that we really want a good quality product because we don't want to have to replace it frequently, which can wind up spending more money. So it's really just about being smart with your money and making good choices so that you can afford the things that you really want. So those are all really great things to want to have in your life. Like I said, it's not about restrictions. You can achieve so many things that you want out of life by embracing a frugal lifestyle. Would you like to spend more time with your family, travel a little more, maybe work a little less, retire early, volunteer more often, whatever it is that's important to you? It doesn't mean you could take those to the max. Like, it doesn't mean you can retire 20 years earlier or, work 2 days a week. But whatever it is that's more important to you will come more easily, and you can make more progress towards it when you're really careful about what happens with your money. So it's not about restricting yourself. You're choosing to prioritize where the money that you have available gets used. And it really helps you prioritize and achieve what you really want the most of. So I don't really understand how it's restriction to put your money towards what you really want and not put it towards what is not important to you. Living a frugal life also helps us achieve financial goals more easily. So, when you're being mindful of how you spend your money, it's often easier to achieve our financial goals, because a lot of times people struggle to meet their financial goals because they make spending choices that conflict with what their goals actually are, because they're not really taking the time to think about where all of their money is going. We're much more likely to make progress on financial goals when we live a frugal lifestyle and we really consider where our dollars are going, because that makes a huge difference in being able to achieve or make progress towards whatever goals that we have. And we're also able to set more realistic financial goals because we actually know what we have available to us. It's really difficult to set and achieve financial goals when you don't have a good handle on what is coming in and going out. So by practicing frugality, it really allows you to see what goals you can realistically set and achieve. Because when people maybe think they're not really in tune with what they have and what their expenses are, they might set goals that are just unrealistic based on their current financial situation, and that can end up being really discouraging. So by living a frugal lifestyle and really knowing what's going on with your money, you can set realistic goals and realistically achieve them. We also stress less over money. So of course we all have stressful money situations that come up. Like for example, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before. Actually, I know I did because I did an episode on having to replenish my emergency fund this year. That's one of my goals. So I had to take a pretty big portion out of my emergency fund savings to pay for some significant medical bills this year. And now we have to work really hard to replace that money. So that's definitely stressful. It's also stressful even just thinking about the fact that another emergency could come up now before we even have the fund fully replenished. So I'm certainly not saying that living a frugal life relieves all stress, but it relieves a lot of that daily stress just in regular life that comes from not really having control over your money. Have you ever kind of felt anxious about making a purchase of some non-essential item because you didn't really know where the money was coming from? I don't really mean where the money's coming from, like you're out of money or your bank account's going to overdraw, but just kind of that unknown of how much all these little purchases you've made throughout the month will impact you, will impact what you have left to pay bills or to save. When you really start making purchases intentionally and decide before making purchases that this is how you want to spend your money and what you want to spend it on, you'll really find that anxiety about purchases is no longer there. Because when you're clear on what your income and expenses are and you have goals in place, you just will naturally feel less stressed about money because you have a plan. The unknown is often what causes a lot of stress. So just being aware of what your situation is and what you can do to improve it or to set goals or to spend money in better ways, it can really reduce a lot of that stress that people feel over money on a daily basis. Living a frugal lifestyle also naturally reduces clutter. Because you're being mindful of your spending, you're much less likely to purchase things on a whim. And of course, I'm not saying that this will never happen because I think we all get caught up in impulse spending on occasion. But for the most part, we really focus on having things that we really value. So this really helps us eliminate the things that we have that we don't really want or need. And as we get rid of those things that we don't really value, we often don't replace them by other things because we're really more mindful about spending our money on things that we really want and not just kind of purchasing something because it sounds exciting one day. Some things that I think you will notice will be a little bit different as you really embrace a frugal lifestyle is that you probably won't be tempted by things like sales to go out shopping or buy something you had no intention of purchasing. You start to really realize that just because something's a good deal, it doesn't mean that you need to buy it. You also really stop wanting to upgrade things all the time that are really working. At least I feel like you kind of value things more. And if something is still working and functioning, even though it might not be brand new or the latest thing, you're not so concerned about needing to upgrade. You will realize that your old phone works fine and you're happy with it, so you'll keep using it. Even if you can afford the payment, just because your old phone is paid off doesn't mean that you now need to get a new phone because that money is freed up. You'll probably want to use that money towards something else, like a financial goal or something that's important to you. You won't feel the need to upgrade your car because it's over 10 years old. If it still runs great, you'll probably be happy about the good choice you made in buying it, and you'll appreciate that it's still going strong and not feel like, oh, I need to go get a new car now because I've had this car for 10 years or however long you've had it. You just get more appreciation out of the things that you have and the things that you spend money on, and kind of really value them and don't really feel like you need to constantly upgrade to the newer or better thing. And it's such a different feeling when you planned for something and saved up for it you really can enjoy it more and not have any guilt about it. So you'll kind of notice that you appreciate things more when you purchase them because you had planned and saved for them, than if you just purchased something and didn't really have the money for it and now you're stuck trying to recover from those expenses. And I also just wanted to share that, I really think that frugality impacts your life as a whole, not just your finances. So, it really impacts so much more than just your money. When you really think about what you value most, it improves your entire life, because as you're living a frugal lifestyle, you are really looking at your money, because you're trying to, you're looking at how your money is spent, because you want to make sure that you're spending your money how it aligns with your values. And by doing that, you really start thinking about all aspects of your life. Like, for example, I really focus on planning how I spend my time a lot more now than I did before I really started living a frugal lifestyle, because just as important as how you spend your money is how you spend your time, because that you want to spend your time on what you value also, not on things that are wasting your time. So it just kind of impacts everything in your life. And it also helps you be more content and really take the time to appreciate the things that you have, because you're not always looking for those newest, latest things. And sometimes you might be, like, if that's something that you really value, getting the latest technology or getting the newest phone. I'm certainly not in any way saying that that is not important. If it's important to you, then that's where you would be prioritizing your money. But if something like that isn't important to you, you're going to be more content and appreciative of what you currently have, so that you can put that money towards other things. So it all kind of like feeds together. And I found too that I even just started appreciating simple things much more the more we really started living a frugal lifestyle, because things like, I don't know, I get excited about buying like a $3 packet of seeds and then like planting them and watching them grow, and just like simple little things. Even like I've talked about so many times, like renting library books on my phone. I think it's like, I get so excited about the fact that I'm getting these library books that I can just read all the time, and it's right on my phone. I don't have to go to the library. Like, I just appreciate it so much. And I think that by not having to constantly be trying to look for like better, greater things, it really just helps you appreciate those littler things more, and it makes you happier. Like, it gives you like a happier life. At least that's what I think. And I think managing your money can actually be fun. So even just by the sheer act of managing your money, and setting up budgets and seeing how you did, and setting savings goals, and watch, as you make little bits of progress, like, you can make that fun. Like, make it like a game, see how well you did, adjust, make changes, see what worked and what didn't work. It's really something that you can choose how to look at it. If you're going to look at it like, oh gosh, I have to go do this budget now, of course it's not going to be pleasant. But if it's something you have to do anyway, why not try and make it kind of like a challenge and make it fun for yourself? When you see things that you can do and how much more simple your life can be by embracing a frugal lifestyle, it's really easy. It's like a really easy choice to make, I think. I think it's a really great lifestyle, and I think it brings so many benefits to us. So that's all I have to say about this topic today. Don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife. You can find blog posts for each episode on my website at lolasfrugallife.com, and you can join our private listeners group on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoyed the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you'd screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so that I can see you're listening. Also, if you could please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast, that would be so helpful to me. I haven't gotten a review in a while. I would really, really love to see a new one pop up. It really, truly does make a difference. I'm really trying hard to grow my podcast, and the reviews are what help get the podcast shown more favorably in search results. So if you could do that, that would be much appreciated. Also, if you're interested, there's a link to financially support the podcast in the show notes. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a really awesome day.